Jesus, please take us from this grandstand world. It's time we got into the game. Welcome to Leaving the Grandstand World. I'm Vic Zarley. Remember the story when Jesus made a whip of cords to drive the money changers out of the temple? I was sitting on my prayer couch one afternoon when an inner voice, not audible, told me to get my guitar. It was leaning on a wall. I got up, got it, sat down on my bed thinking, now what? Pretty quickly after that, the words and music came pouring out of this song. I love it. It is entitled John 2:15, Jesus made a whip of cords. Sometimes the Bible characters, yes, even Jesus, can act out in their stories how God's Spirit moves in us. In this song, Jesus was letting us know that we can call upon Him to drive the carnality from our hearts and minds. He is more than willing to take His whip to it. Enjoy this song. The world is just a carnival, that's all that it will be. The things that happen in it, we all take so seriously. And as we do, then God can't work through us to shine His light. Oh, Jesus, take that whip of yours and swing with all your might. Then Jesus made a whip of cords that He would use to drive out all carnality that we would choose. Why do we fill our temples with ungodly things? Oh, Jesus, take your whip of cords and start to swing right now. Is your temple so defiled by watching that TV? Do you bow down to get your paper and read excitedly? Do you pay homage to the movies every Friday night? Are you caught up in carnal news that lost reporters write? Let Jesus make a whip of cords that He would use to drive out all carnality that you would choose. Why do you fill your temple with ungodly things? Let Jesus take His whip of cords and start to swing right now. If the church is just a social club, politically unfair, there's Jesus with His whip of cords, right hand raised in the air. He grieves for temples in and out, but will not stay despair. For nothing is impossible when God is standing there. 'Cause Jesus made a whip of cords that He would use to drive out all carnality that we would choose. Why do we fill our temples with ungodly things? Oh, Jesus, take your whip of cords and start to swing right now. Oh, Jesus made a whip of cords that He would use to drive out all carnality that we would choose. chords and start to swing right now. Now I'll share a poem that explores what Jonah in the Old Testament could mean to us, if his experience could relate to our inner life. Please enjoy Jonah.
Jonah. I'm deep inside the fish of my halting mental fears, strangling in the belly of the fish these many years. Like Jonah, I desired to proclaim the Father's will, but afraid of what would happen, I remained in prison still. I tried to get away on a boat that sails the sea. A storm came up and all the crew looked fearfully at me. I realized I can't escape the Father's will at all. The mental malformations from my mind began to fall, and then I tossed my body in that wild churning sea, and soon a fish swam over and slowly swallowed me. I've been here many years now in the belly of this fish, thinking what I'd do if I were granted just one wish. My Father has the best for me within His holy mind. Let me serve you, Father, as you work out your design. Let me be released from the bondage of this fish, to do the will of you, dear God. That is my deepest wish.
I would like to thank Jason Shaw for his instrumental entitled Mountain Sun, Old Version, which is found at audionautics.com. Are you sick of the distractions that fill up your life? I know, because I too am distracted by these hell magnets. If my mind had no power, then it wouldn't matter what I paid attention to. If our minds did not help create our circumstances, then we should enjoy every distraction we can get our minds around. But our minds truly are gifts from God. We treat them as if they were toys, and we are undisciplined little children who do not come in at dusk when our parents call us to come home. We refuse. We rebel. We know better than they do. We're too involved in our distractions to pay attention to the still small voice of God, our Father, who calls us home to Him, who loves us so much He gave His only begotten Son to die for us. It might help to understand why having faith in God and His attributes is so important. We surround ourselves with witnesses to agree with what we believe in our hearts. If, for instance, we adamantly believe that God does not heal today, that He only healed when Jesus walked this earth, we simply would not be able to find any witnesses or proofs that God heals today. And we'd be sure there weren't any. We would be blind to it, and though thousands of cases exist of God's healing power today, we would not see even one example. It would be out of our awareness. Today, I want to challenge you to do some serious mining for God ore. I sincerely want to help you recognize that God is calling you in at dusk. He wants you to experience the love and peace that He will establish in you through His Son, Jesus Christ. He will help you reprioritize your agendas so that He is first. When He is first, all our seconds are elevated or eliminated according to God's priorities, not our own. All circumstances, all relationships, all goals, all of life becomes better. The internet is filled with every distraction this world has to offer, but it also carries redemptive stories that can make the most disillusioned come to faith in God. My challenge is to invite you to explore the redemptive stories that have been so creatively told on innumerable sites. Remember, distractions are often hell magnets. It is like we have thousands of metal filings from the world embedded in our bodies, and we are inescapably drawn to the discouraging and hopeless appearances to the point where we almost cannot help but believe that the appearances are the truth and God is a myth. But the appearances are like a mist, and God's truth transforms our minds, which then, through Jesus Christ, dissipates the mist as we allow Him to do so. God takes us beyond the appearances and heals us from the metal filings we've allowed the world to stick in our bodies. We really need to give more credence to our God-given minds rather than just so readily accept what the world says is true. Seek out the God ore on the internet. Soak it up. The world will whine a little as you pull your attention away from it, but it will survive as you choose to become fully alive in Jesus Christ and the heightened awareness He brings. Check out this site filled with faith-building stories, cbn.com. Click around a little and you will find profound healing stories, as well as stories of people stuck deep in the mire of carnality, being transformed and coming to faith. Google Pastor Ken Gobb and his story, God Knows Where I Am. You will be richly blessed as you read about the time Ken and his family stopped at a random restaurant while on vacation. Ken decided he wasn't hungry and went for a walk when a public telephone, remember those, began ringing nearby. Eventually, Ken answered it, and a woman, desperate to speak with him, was comforted. She had gotten that public telephone's number in a vision. What an amazing story. Also, I want to recommend another true story of God's amazing healing. This one was about a preacher who had gotten a virus in his vocal cords. For many years and countless doctors, his voice remained almost unintelligibly raspy. This preacher spoke whenever he could, despite his vocal cap. His voice was being recorded one evening when God healed him, supernaturally, of course. It was caught on tape. Listen to it and be amazed. If you Google Dwayne Miller video, you will hear this preacher be healed in the soundtrack of this 4-minute video. Here is another story which I shared with you last chapter that is well worth your time. I found it on CBN's site, but lost the link for many months. I'm grateful that I have found it again because I want to share this story with you. A woman was healed from a serious case of cerebral palsy. Here's the link. Type in 700-club-interactive-July-23-2009. A complete link will show up. Click that and you're there. Move the cursor 12 minutes in to hear this story. As you read about and listen to and watch these stories, you may start to feel the movement of the Holy Spirit within you. Stop. Close your eyes. Breathe in deeply His presence. Enjoy the God ore you have been seeking. Enjoy the God ore you have found. And I don't want you to miss Andrew Womack's healing testimony page on his website at awmi.net. There you will find many amazing healing stories with which you'll marvel and with which will build your faith. Of course, you'll never find any of these faith-building stories if you don't believe they exist. So, believe they exist because they do. Remember Hebrews 11:6, and without faith it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. Jesus, please take us from this grandstand world. It's time we got into the game. We're so tired of this grandstand world where feelings never seem to change. Sometimes this world seems so unjust. I think we'll find, I hope we'll find that through your mind the sidelines aren't for us.